welcome back to another episode of RNT Fitness Radio. This week, Akash and I are doing something slightly different. So it's just the two of us talking, and we're actually going to read through a post that we put together a while back. And what makes this post unique is that we came up with the idea of asking the clients within our internal Facebook group, what are the best tips that they can give other people on their journey. So for once, rather than Akash and I sort of defining the narrative with an article, we allowed our clients to take reign of it, and we cherry picked the top answers and added those in. So to give you context, the question that I asked within the group just simply said, guys and girls of RNT, I thought this would make a cool post. How about the top 10 body transformation tips from RNT's clients? So rather than Akash and I delivering our usual comments from a coach's perspective, people can read what you guys are finding is working for you. If you have tips that you think have been a game changer for you, please hit me with them below. They could be one sentence long or even paragraphs long. Nutrition, training, mindset, you name it. Anything that has or is working for you that you feel others should know about. So I simply left it at that. And I think, Akash, you can agree that the response that we had was pretty vast. Yeah, we had lots of people contributing to it, and you had to sort of go through with a bit of a fine-tooth comb and pick the ones that you feel gave the most value.
Yeah, so the responses were very wide, but what we did find was about 90% of the answers tended to kind of come back to mindset, habit, and life-related answers, as opposed to training, diet, cardio, or the typical answers that you might get in a coach's manual or the typical blogs. So what we realized was the tips that help most people transform their bodies are more lifestyle oriented and having the right mindset going into a transformation, as opposed to worrying about, say, which sets, which reps, or how much protein, how much carbs. It all seems to relate down to being able to get yourself in as best of an environment as possible to allow compliance to occur.
So almost the opposite of what the average person thinks that they need to be worrying about.
Yeah, exactly. So
most people... Over to you, sorry.
No, go on.
So the average person thinks that they need to worry about how much rest they're taking in between sets, the exact gram of protein that they're hitting, which time of day they're taking their creatine monohydrate. Whereas actually what our clients, and these are people that are in the trenches, the people that you see on our transformations page, what they are finding the biggest key to unlocking the results is just executing that, but taking care of the mindset. Exactly.
And the only time the finer details matter that you just mentioned is when you've got someone who's where fitness is their life, and we don't really deal with those clients, right? Yeah. And it's only really the robots or the extreme competitors who base most of their life around their fitness. But for the average person, fitness isn't their life, and they've got to juggle families, careers, long hours, and all of that. So it becomes more about managing a lifestyle as opposed to the intricate details of training and diet.
Yeah, agreed. Let's kick off with number one then. So as said, so we've given you the outline of it. Akash has gone through, he's taken quotes from each client and then put it into different sort of subheadings. So number one is titled Plan, Plan, Plan. And Akash, are we going to your commentary as well, or should we just skip straight to what the clients have said?
Yeah, let's go with the clients first, and then we can put our own take on it on each one afterwards.
Okay, so Jaina Shah, who's a client of mine that's done a photo shoot alongside her partner. We did a couple shoot with them, and we filmed it and gave a mini testimonial afterwards that you guys can check out. Jaina said, 1, to help me be consistent, I schedule everything. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, walks, even downtimes and bedtimes. This works really well for me, especially as I work from home. I found that when I've broken out my daily routine of waking up at the same time every day, it seems to have a knock-on effect on my nutrition and training. So I'll quickly comment on this, and then perhaps you can go through Saki's answer. So I agree. Like Jaina, I and you, we work from home, and it is easy to, when you first start out doing that, especially, I know you're very structured, but initially when I first started working from home, it was a relief for the first time in 11 years, not having to wake up by an alarm and thinking, actually, you know what? I think it's more healthy from a mindset point of view to wake up when my body wants me to. But actually, I found it the opposite, that I just had no schedule. I didn't know whether I was coming or going. So I agree 100% with Jaina that you need to set a schedule. You need to plan. And And one thing in here that I like, that I will add, is I've taken this from Craig Ballantyne, is actually not just setting an alarm as to when you wake up, but also setting what's called a reverse alarm.
Yeah.
This one is a game changer for me. So I've been prone to just working until crazy hours and then trying to read a book before bed and then being on Instagram. And one minute I'm going to bed at 11 p.m. Another minute it might be 10 past 12 at night. Sometimes it's 1 a.m. So now what I do is I work backwards. So I know that I want to be in a coffee shop by 8 a.m. in the morning. I know that I need to schedule or post my social media posts for, say, 7:15. So I need to be up at 7 o'clock every day. I'm not one of these. I'm not into competition. I don't feel the need to get up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 7 a.m. suits me. I like to get 7 hours sleep. So I work that back in that I need to be asleep by midnight. So what I do is I set an alarm 1 hour before bed. So for me, it's 11. And that means from 11 p.m. onwards, I'm not using any social media. There's no laptop usage, no electronics, basically. So whether your planned bedtime is 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 a.m., the reverse alarm, the theory of it is set it about 1 hour before you want to actually go to bed and cut off electronics use and start winding yourself down mentally. So for me, the alarm goes off at 11. That's my signal to stop work if I'm still working, wrap up the emails as soon as possible, get off social media, turn the TV off, whatever form of electronic is around me, get off of that. I brush my teeth and all that good stuff, head into bed, and then I'll read 2 chapters of a book.
Oh yeah? What are you reading?
Right now it's Never Eat Alone.
Oh really? Yeah, that's a good book.
Yeah, I've got Never Eat Alone. The next book after that is The Way of the Superior Man. And then I need to get through the breathing book as well.
Did you start the book?
I started reading it briefly, but I'm not very good at having 2 or 3 books on the go at once.
Yeah.
So I'm just working my way through this. I've kind of prioritized them. So obviously coming off the back of the Renegade workshop, my big one was I want to increase my social network. So for me, the one that's going to push the needle in that form is probably going to be the Never Eat Alone. Once I've covered that, then I'll go back to the breathing book. So in essence, to wrap up, I rambled there, but in essence, it's one, you definitely do need to wake up at the same time every day. You definitely do need to plan everything, but also consider using a reverse alarm if you know that you're like me and you're very sporadic in the time that you fall asleep at night and you allow yourself to be laying in bed, one eye open, scrolling aimlessly through Instagram. It's just...
I think not only having a bedtime alarm, but also having I guess it kind of applies, what you just said, it kind of applies, but also having a work alarm.
Yeah.
So if you work from home, having that cutoff point in the day where, and the best way to do it, I found, is to schedule social events in the evening. Because if you have that,
to get it done.
Yeah, it gives you an incentive to get it done. You know, like if most people work in the office, they have that 6 or 7 o'clock deadline to get out of the office, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't have that. We can end up if you're just at home, you just keep working and working and working. So having that social event in the evening gives you that, non-negotiable deadline automatically. And it just forces you to be more productive in the daytime.
Agreed. It's actually one of the things that Craig went through on his Perfect Day workshop on, what day was it? Wednesday I attended it. The first thing he actually did, he said he's changed this slightly for the course, is he got a whiteboard out and wrote Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, did columns for that. And he said the first blocks you put in there are your non-negotiable social events.
Yeah.
And then the work fits in around that. So in his case, he said Thursday evenings at his time when he catches up with friends that are completely unbusiness related and whatnot, they go in the diary first. Then it's his training. Then it's his dog walks. And then the work stuff slides in around that. He's very structured. So yeah, that's an important point.
Yeah. And another thing on that is, like you just touched on, is scheduling your training times at the start of the week and trying to keep them as consistent as possible each week. Not because you're going to get any physiological benefit out of it, but more so that there's no way of things cropping up around it. And at say it's 12 p.m. for you, and 4 days a week, 12 p.m. you're going to be training. If they're already in the diary at the beginning, there's no way of skipping it. Or
just book it in as if it's a client. It's as important as a client meeting.
Yeah,
put it in as Craig would say, you're non-negotiable.
Exactly, and the same goes to meal prep and cardio or whatever it is. the more you can pack it, the more you can schedule it beforehand, the better chance you give yourself for success.
Agreed. On to the next one.
That was a detailed one.
It was, yeah. We expanded on that quite well.
Okay, so Saki had a few points here. She said, tell your family and friends you're doing a transformation. Makes it easier when declining unplanned drinks or meals out. Second is buy portable electronic scales, which you can carry when traveling. I also keep a set of food scales at my parents' house. If eating out, check the nutritionals of menus online or email restaurants to ask for nutritionals ahead of time. More often than not, I've been able to get at least the calories for food when emailing restaurants directly. So I think that's a big one for our clients, especially working in the city who have a lot of work events in the evening where they're eating out. And most of the time they do know where they're going. So what I have them do is send me the menu ahead of time, or if they can look up the calories online, it allows them to create the buffer in the day necessary to make sure the calories stay in line.
Precisely. For example, if your total daily caloric goal is 2,000 calories, and you know that up until 6 p.m. you typically eat, say, 1,500 calories, and then your evening meal is 500. This is just pure, random numbers I'm pulling out. If you then look at this restaurant and you see that the meal that you want is going to be 1,000 calories, now this is extravagant, okay? It's just a number, so don't freak out about the number. That's 1,000 calories. What that then means is that you need to adjust your diet earlier in the day to drop a further 500. Does that make sense? So that you're not eating your normal 1,500 and then the additional 1,000 on top of that, which would then put you at 2,500 when your goal was 2,000. So that's the point that Akash is making there. Is
exactly. And following on from that, if you're using MyFitnessPal or a food tracker, you've got to plan it ahead of time. You can't wing it as you go along, because that way you're just going to open yourself up to digression a lot easier than it would be if you had the planned meals ahead of time.
Yeah, definitely.
And then last one is, if possible, get your groceries delivered. You're more likely to plan ahead this way and less likely to go off track or buy random foods. I think that's especially applicable if you're doing more of an aggressive diet. And I'm guessing Saki wrote this around the time after a photo shoot.
Yeah. I go into robot mode when I diet, so I don't cheat. But it's been shown that when we are severely calorically restricted, that our sense of smell is heightened. So if you are new to this and you do have, and let's just be honest, if you do have a weak willpower and you go to do your usual food shop, you are going to pick up smells that you wouldn't usually realize. So you'll walk into the front of the store and you will start smelling the bakery at the back of the store. And then you are probably going to be more likely to add things to your shopping trolley. I mean, like you, Saki, and so on, we have that mental resilience to block it out. Yeah. But people that are new to this process might not necessarily have that. So removing that temptation by just getting the stuff that you need delivered is the easiest way to do it, and ensuring it's not in the kitchen.
Heightened smell, and it's also the temptation for weird foods, right?
Yeah, that changes too.
So you'd buy things that you probably wouldn't normally buy.
Yeah. I remember one of the first foods that I'd eaten after my last contest prep. I think it was like 3 days post show. I went out for a walk in between clients, and I went and bought a quiche. And there's nothing wrong with quiche. I hadn't had one for like 15 years, and I haven't had one since that day. I don't eat. It's not that I don't like it, but it's not a food that I would. Yeah, I never sit there craving it. But for some reason, I'd finish a show prep. Appetite regulators are screwed. Sense of smell. Just everything is all out of whack. And I'm walking through Sainsbury's and I see this quiche, and I'm like, oh, I probably haven't had that since I was like 14 at a birthday party. I'm going to buy a quiche. And, to make it clear that the diet was done, like I was able to do so. It wasn't a binge. It wasn't anything negative. It just, my point of this is that I don't eat quiche. I guess it's just a random food choice that due to the extreme diet, things change. So,
well, I mean, about my random food combinations when dieting, right?
Oh, the worst one was it like courgette and oats or something?
It was courgettes, asparagus, whey, and a remainder of oats that was left.
It looked fucking grim.
And then on a daily basis, I was doing whey and rice, which I thought was great at the time. I was thinking, this is something I've never thought that would be. This is something I can carry on going forwards, right? But as soon as the show was done, that was out. Yeah.
Well, yeah, your taste buds change. It's the same as
There's an egg in there as well. I had an egg on top of rice, and then I was pouring the whey on top of the egg. And I was going through the egg into the rice. Yeah.
Yeah, your perception of taste, it changes. I mean, people that eat like protein bars daily when they diet, which personally I'm not a fan of doing, but I know people that have protein bars daily, and they get so excited about them and the flavors and think they taste amazing. And if I'm dieting, to me, towards the end of a diet, once I finished it, I might go and have a protein bar, the latest flavor, the birthday cake flavor, whatever. And at the time I'm thinking, oh, this tastes really good. But then in LA, for example, this past week, you realize that actually protein bars taste fucking rank.
Yeah,
when you're eating normal foods, they don't taste good. They got a horrible aftertaste. They're chemically, you can taste the fiber in them, and they're disgusting. But again, it's just another example of your perception of food taste changes.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. And this kind of links nicely as we were talking about willpower. And for most people, willpower, I think, is linked to the second point, which is establishing your why, which was written by Geeta. She said, for me, it's determining what's your why. Focusing on and remembering why you started the journey in the first place is so important. The why has to be specific and relevant to you, and has to be important enough in order to help you keep you motivated and stay on track. Generic goals such as losing weight won't make enough of an impact to motivate you when the going gets tough, and it will get tough, but your why will.
Yep, not much to add to that one. I agree 100%. You need a why to take you through those, the dark phases that we've referenced before, and also specific, set goals. I need to lose X amount of pounds, and I want to try and do it, but make sure it's realistic. Run it by your coach. But it just it makes knowing why you're going into the gym every day and why you're eating the same foods, it just makes it that much easier psychologically when you know that at the end of the week you've got that target to hit of that. Okay, I've worked backwards and I've equated it to be 1.2 pounds per week that I need to lose, rather than just winging it and one week you lose half a pound, another week it's 1.5. It's, as you say, just losing weight for most people isn't enough.
Yeah, and it's going to be the biggest determinant in how strong your willpower is as well.
Yeah, definitely. So point number 3 is one of my personal favorites, and I wish more people took this one on board, which is trust your trainer and trust the process. So Sakin said, game changers for me, just trust your trainer and don't overthink everything. And this is music to a coach's ears.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real here. Let's not sugarcoat this. We charge at the high end. We have a great track record with results. There's a reason that our retention is high. There's a reason that new clients are always wanting to come on board. There's a reason that other trainers in the industry are looking up to learn from us. So if you've recently just joined, you've paid your money, you've made that leap of faith, so to speak, just go all in. Trust your coach. Execute. Feedback, allow the coach to make changes. Don't try and second guess. It never ends well.
There's a fine line between asking educated questions and asking too many questions. Too many fall on that side of overthinking the small details, and even after they've hired a coach, they still want to get themselves stuck in paralysis by analysis for no reason.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just make it as simple for yourself as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, education and learning is great. We are all for that. But just don't second guess and read one thing on one website and then go on another trainer's social media page and read their thing and then
show it to us and ask them what we think about it.
Yeah, it's just like just go all in on one. Either hire us or hire them. Whoever you're probably going to get results. Either way. I'm going to be more biased and say hopefully you would get better results with us. But everyone has a different way of doing things. The issues start to arise when you try and combine various methodologies, and you kind of end up just spinning your wheels and losing track.
And you're not doing any methodology about it. You just
as you summed it up, paralysis by analysis. Yeah, exactly. Okay, next one is over to you.
Okay, so the next one is consistency. So this was written by quite a few people. So I narrowed it down to 2. Scott Burnett summed it up really nicely and just said, consistency is key, trust the process, and the results will follow, which is a nice follow-up to what we just said. And then Varun said, consistency and motivation. The bit about consistency he wrote is you don't build a pyramid with one block in a day. You put it together with several ones in months and years.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to put it.
I like that. Definitely. Yeah. Consistency trumps everything.
And I think the big thing about consistency is what we talk about, you get that gathered momentum. So when you can build up consistency over months, what you'll find is, say 16 weeks, months 1 to 12, you probably get that normal rate of fat loss. And in that last 4 weeks, you always get something, everything starts to accelerate. And
it's amplified,
everything happens a lot quicker. And it's just because you put in those 3 months of consistency beforehand that your body just goes into overdrive and starts melting body fat, right?
Yep, agreed. Yep, but you need to get the wheels in motion to get to that point. So yeah, consistency. Okay, number 5 is learning not to make excuses when life gets in the way. So we had Karan, am I saying that correctly?
Karan.
Yeah. Learning to not make excuses. It's the easiest thing to do when work takes over and stress kicks in, to just say, I won't train or I don't have time to train. But when you push through it, it's the best thing and helps reduce any of the stress anyway. That's been a big game changer for me. And we can kind of come full circle there and say that to avoid that, just follow tip number 1 and plan. And that way the work isn't going to get in the way. Gary then followed up with, I completely agree. I always say life will get in the way, and there will be days that no matter what you don't, you won't be able to train. The days you want to make excuses but push through, these are the...
Maybe don't read this one.
No, this is, maybe we could have filtered that one for the grammar a little bit. Anyway, the point he's trying to make is that... this is embarrassing if he's listening to this. Sorry, dude. Basically, he's trying to just push through. Maybe I should have tried reading that one before. Yeah. Or you could have cropped that out.
Yeah.
It's a good addition. We just needed to refine it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, to summarize, Gary has followed up onto Karan's point and has just basically said that you need to push through it, that it makes you feel even more positive afterwards, and you actually probably end up getting more of a reward from it.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's always going to be something, right? So you just got to get on with it.
Yep. Educate yourself. So Alan has said, keep asking questions. A stupid question is the one that wasn't asked. Watch videos, listen to podcasts, read articles. We're never done learning. 100% agree with that. Definitely ask questions. Just make sure that they're questions as to, what's the science behind this, so you can gain an education and understanding into it. We 100% encourage that. Just don't fall into the trap of comparing lots of different people's methodologies and then coming to your trainer and saying, oh, why aren't we doing it this way? But yeah, listen to podcasts, especially the one that you're listening to right now. Just tune into this every Wednesday. You can't go wrong with this one. And what else? Read articles. We've got you covered in the education area. Watch videos, YouTube, RNT Fitness. We've got you covered there. So I think RNT is a pretty damn good informational hub.
Yeah, I mean, when we started it, we wanted to create a one-stop place for people to educate themselves on any topic related to body transformation. And I was saying this to someone the other day, and I think we've pretty much covered almost everything already.
Yeah.
Like if you look through the training, nutrition, educational sections on the blog and in YouTube, there isn't much we haven't covered, right?
Yeah. That's why we struggle to now come up with content, because of two things. One, we've covered it to such a degree, and two, we don't want to become that trainer that starts posting about shit that they don't believe in just to try and stay relevant on social media. This is why, it's becoming harder and harder to produce content. It's because we've given out all the factual information that we think will really add value, and we're not willing to sort of jeopardize our integrity. And it comes back to this. So for those of you that listen to the gut health episode, Jake had legit been reading about gut health for 6 years. But my point to that is that I've seen a lot of these trainers, 3 months ago, they're trying to post about advanced biomechanics. Now they've moved on to gut health. It's all a case of trying to stay relevant. Whereas if you look at Akash and I's information, none of it's ever groundbreaking. None of it is ever truly advanced. It's just repeating the basics again and again and again. So yeah, if you want to learn everything transformation wise, fat loss, muscle growth, supplementation, just type in RNT Fitness. You've got a plethora of information there. Okay,
exactly.
over to you with number 7.
Okay, moving on to number 7 is positive affirmations. So Ashwini has wrote.
So can I just interrupt you here quickly?
Yeah.
We've I just found this funny. This is completely, you might choose to edit this out. But I get the live chat pop up on my phone.
Yeah.
So we've got somebody going in on us right now. So this is a compliment to a lot of our transformations. So for those of you that have got a transformation with us and you're on our transformations page, you're basically being accused of taking steroids.
Oh, great.
90% of you. So
what does it say?
Shiv, so there's a few messages. 90% of no hello, just 90% of the transformations you have up are of people on PEDs, which is performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah.
It's blatantly obvious. You're making a living on fraud with innocent people. Building 3D shoulders, huge traps, acne all over the back. I don't see any acne. That's what your transformations are. But people are too dumb and educated to realize that 1 out of every 25 men in the UK takes steroids.
Really?
That is even underestimated. Wow. So it's a complete tangent. Sorry to derail, but it's a compliment to those of you that are on our transformations page that don't have acne, that don't take steroids, that are killing it for us. And you should be proud that you've actually got somebody messaging us with this, accusing us.
Yeah, I would just reply saying thank you so much.
If we weren't recording this, then I would reply saying thank you, Ian. But I'm just going to let him. He's keeping going, so I'm just going to let him keep messaging. So for those of you that have got a transformation with us, done your photo shoots, or even just some amazing after photos, take that as a pat on the back. That people are thinking that you're actually cheating and using performance enhancing drugs to get to where you've got to. Anyway, carry on.
So Ashwini said, keep positive affirmations on the background of your phone and listen to podcasts while commuting to the gym to get to the right mindset. And then Kishan Samaya followed this up by saying, have your eye on the prize and visualize it. This will motivate you to get up early and go gym after a long day's work, walk the long way home to get your step count where it should be. So one of the common things some of my clients do is they put a picture of the physique they aspire to be. And while they probably won't get to that exact body because everyone's got a different shape, it just keeps their eye on the prize and reminds them, when they might feel like cheating on a diet or, slacking off the intensity, that they've got someone to catch up to.
Yep, 100%.
So for example, Shiv recently, his one was Zac Efron from Baywatch. So
yeah.
every check-in, he'd send a picture of Zac Efron in the update form saying, getting closer to this every week, ...
I love that.
And Akash Desai had, remember Stepan?
Yeah.
He had a picture of Step on his phone background for a whole year straight.
Seriously?
Yeah, he had him doing dips, and he's like, "That's the physique I want." Damn. And he took it off the day after his photo shoot.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, does work.
Tell everyone you know. So Chetan has said, if you're in a desk job, constantly in meetings like me, and in a small office space,
you might want to read the second paragraph.
Oh, okay. Tell others you're on your transformation path. You'll be surprised at how often friends and colleagues will ask you how it's progressing. That will give you even more accountability. Not that you should need more if you signed up with RNT. Couldn't agree more. It's the reason that anytime that I compete, I put it across Instagram. It's to give me that accountability. When I did that 5-week, not the recent 5-week diet, but the 5-week prep before the competition, I remember, specifically asking you, Nick Daniel, oh, do you think I can do it? And you were both like, I don't know, like 5 weeks, get in contest shape. I think you're going to be an idiot to do so. So I deliberately put it on social media. I'm going to compete in 35 days. And then that was that accountability that I needed to take myself, to the, as we always say, the dark places within that 35 days to get the result. And it's the same here. It's put it on Instagram, tell your friends, post in the RNT Facebook group, get involved in the community there, and everyone will keep you going.
100%. Nothing to add to that. Next one is diet hacks. So this is one of your favorite ones, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll read them out and then you can expand on your favorites.
Yep.
So Tom Hollis said, go teetotal at least account for your alcohol. Difficult to totally skip it at social events or client entertaining, even a skinny bitch or a gin and slim. I didn't realize it was called that.
No, I didn't either.
Gin and slim comes in at 15 grams of carbs. And choose stout over beer if you absolutely have to. Is there a difference there?
I've never looked into it, but Tom seems like a pretty smart guy. I mean, I don't drink beer. It kills my stomach. But Tom's a pretty switched on guy, and I know he's very detail oriented.
Yeah, super detailed.
So he would have done his homework here. So I'm going to take his word.
Yeah, I didn't really know. I didn't realize gin and slim comes in at 15 grams of carbs.
No, this shows that we're not huge drinkers, right? I'll have an old fashioned, but I write it off like it's out of a dieting phase, and we're lucky that we don't have to entertain clients, with alcohol and stuff. So yeah, it's eye opening. What's it? Sorry. What's it? Sorry. Hello.
Hirsch and Manit had other ideas that time.
Oh yeah, luckily we're not in a dieting phase for that though, right? But I mean, if I had to do it during a dieting phase, then I would definitely be. It will make things a lot harder. So that's when knowing the specifics like this,
for sure,
like to level up.
Second one is, I'll go to the third one is spice and sauces over hot sauce, being an option. That way, it's just an easy way to reduce calories. Onion and garlic granules, fajita seasoning, all absolute game changers in the fight against cardboard chicken.
Here. I'm with you on that one. Fajita.
I think the spices. What you meant by spices was using powdered herbs and spices as opposed to pre-packed marinades. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So rather than use sauce, just use herbs, spices, dry rubs, that sort of thing. They're always going to be a lot less calories. They're pretty much negligible.
Exactly. And do you want to read the last one out because he's referenced you?
Yeah, and then the last one is build your own treats. So I count Adam's diet drink hack in here. My brain still thinks Coke Zero is great, but building my own macro-friendly treats really helped me stay compliant. Regular go-tos is mixing Quaker's porridge oats with Phytech chocolate peanut butter protein. It literally comes out like a brownie mix. So I've posted about this before. I'm a big fan of using diet drinks in the early phases of a diet. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using them throughout the diet, but for me, it's that initial 2 weeks of a dieting phase, which is where we have those hunger adaptations and cravings. So for me, what takes the edge off of it is like a Coke Zero or a Lilt Zero or a 7-Up, that sort of thing. If you're worried about having brain cancer and this and that, you would probably die of overhydration before you ever actually had any issues from the sweetener involved. And then, you can come up with different things. Tom's reference there, the oats. My favorite is mixing a chocolate casein supplemental protein with peanut butter and turning that into a paste. It's like a Snickers mousse type thing. That's one of my favorites. I'm a fan of sugar-free jellies. Apples I've posted about on my last dieting phase. I've said this before. They're like 70 calories, packed of fiber and water, so they keep you satiated. They take a while to eat. So it's trying to
herbal tea,
all things in herbal teas. Options, hot chocolate. That's a big one. It sounds sad, but I used to get excited that like I'd save it for a Sunday night, and it's 39 calories and it's hot. It takes a while to drink. It's a little bit filling. It's sweet. So yes, these are all little sort of low calorie things that you can add in.
Celery
sticks, which again, this is an unusual one. Like I don't eat celery. Like it's just not a food that I eat. But when I diet, if one of my meals happens to be, say, whey protein, 20 grams of nut butter, I might mix the whey with the peanut butter to make the paste. And then to drag it out further, I'll start putting that down the celery shoot, down the celery stick. Just so I've got that crunch as well that we tend to miss from a diet. When you're dieting, when you think about it, it's like rice, it's chicken. We lack that crunch. So adding things like celery can just change things up a bit. So it's just trying to come up with low calorie ways of making the diet a bit more interesting and not so monotonous.
Perfect. Number 10, I think Mitesh dropped the hammer with this one. All great tips so far. For what it's worth, this is less of a tip more than ever for me, a guiding principle I still try to stick to and work towards every day. I think it will apply to all, whatever your stage, just ... Execute, execute, execute.
Fucking men.
Your coaches can provide you with all the tools in the box, but you've got to walk through that door. So execution, each of these. Number 1, prioritization. At least keep training nutrition in your top 5 priorities. Work it in around family, work, and other priorities. It's a good point there.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, preparation, which we've covered already. Number 3, accountability, not only to your coach, but include your near and dear. Above all, remember why you're doing this, which sums up a couple of the other points before. Number 4, progression. Doesn't need to be fancy, just an attainable goal to work towards, an extra rep, an extra set, extra plate on the barbell. Realistic. Progression. Number 5 would be realistic. Progression isn't linear. Think peaks and valleys, but overall long-term upward trajectory. That's a good point for the fat loss, right?
Yes.
Sorry? Yeah,
that's a really important one. That it's probably not go past the 8 to 12 week mark. You have weight on the scale probably isn't going to be completely linear.
No.
Unless you're being very, very aggressive. As you start to get leaner, things like water weight fluctuations, bowel contents, don't let those throw you off. You will probably have the odd day where your body weight might shift up, half a pound to 1.5 pounds, or it might even plateau for two days or so. The big picture is that your 7-day average is going down in the right direction.
Yep. And then the last point he's written is consistency, which is a nice way to end that point. And then moving on to, we've got a couple of rapid fires. So should we just read it alternatively?
Yeah. I'll start with the first one, then you go and I go and so on. So weighing myself every day. Thank you, Adam. And then taking a weekly, funny enough, I've just said this, taking a weekly average. It's amazing to see how the weight fluctuates on a daily basis, from which you can diagnose issues that you've been having. That's from Jaina, something that we implemented. Females are very, very prone to this one. Whether it's water weight from stress, the menstrual cycle, whether it's bowel contents from weighing yourself at a different time of day and having different food choices, just weighing yourself every single day, dividing it by 7 and using your weekly average is probably going to be better than just taking it once per week. And then if it tends to, if it luck has it that it lands on a bad day, it kind of throws your psychology off.
Number 2, you will have bad days. Don't be too down. Speak to your trainer, family, or post in the RNT group if needed. But the key is to get back on it the very next day.
Mm-hmm. Number 3 is using your workout sheets and logging it each week to stay focused. This is a big one. Don't wing your sessions. Don't try and remember what you lifted last week. You can't beat the data and the numbers. Akash knows this. I'm not a data guy. Can you think of anybody less adept on spreadsheets and stuff? No, but when it comes to training and nutrition, everything is tracked, logged, beaten.
Perfect. Number 4, Sunny Daliwal said, for me, it's been about adapting habits over time. For example, 10 years ago, I hated working out first thing in the morning, and I'd always preferred to go in the evenings. 18 months ago, I tried going in the morning again and loved it. And I've been doing it ever since. And now hate the thought of going to the gym in the evening. If something didn't work for you in the past, it might be worth revisiting it over time to see if things have changed as you've gotten older.
Yep, agree with that one. Track but recognize progress is not linear, and that the accumulation of ticking all the boxes will show through in the end. I hope that this is true for me, he's put. Look for the small victories. Weight's not gone down, but waist has. Mega. No measurement changes, but more reps in the gym. Groovy. That was by Paul.
That's a northerner right there, right?
Yeah.
Jerry has said, keeping my meals simple has really helped me get on top of meal prep. The less I have to think about, the better. And a shake for breakfast has worked wonders. So this goes down to keeping your diet very similar day to day for at least 80% of the week, which just cuts down on the old decision fatigue. Keeps it a lot easier to stay on track.
Definitely. Snacks and sweet treats are wants, not needs. When thinking about that chocolate, ask yourself, I can't read it. Ask yourself, what do you want more, the body or the treat? And that was by Martin. And I agree, it all comes down to decisions that we make. How bad do you want the result?
And the last rapid fire is stay active all the time, take the longer routes, take the stairs, walk after dinner to hit that step goal, which was by Shalini.
Mm-hmm. Over to you with the concluding thoughts.
Cool. So to conclude it, we had a great post from Biraj, who pretty much summed everything up in a nice post. So I'll read it out here. Number 1, trust your trainer. Ask questions by all means, but trust that they know what they're doing. Focus. Always keep your eye on the end goal and set an event to aim for, be that a holiday, wedding, or better still, a photo shoot. Number 3, discipline. For best results, don't deviate. Tell your friends and family what you're doing so they support you rather than steer you off track. Number 4, meal prep. I used to cook my foods daily until my wife showed me the way. Meal prepping was a game changer. Number 5, support. Support each other via the RNT network. After all, we are an RNT family. I like that one. And finally, and most importantly, enjoy. You're on the road to looking and feeling great, so enjoy the ride. Brackets, apart from the killer Vagella grind.
Exactly. You have to embrace it. Embrace the suck. You're going to get those tough days, but they're the days that drive you into that deficit. And this is what I had a client ask me last week. I've given him twice a week. He does a low carb day. And he asked me, what's my biggest advice to getting through it? I was like, these are the days that you need to relish. Don't look at these as the 2 days of the week. Shit, it's low carbs. You should be embracing it. Yes, these are the days that I'm going to be hungry. These are the days that I'm going to make maximal changes when it comes to body fat loss and create a huge gap in terms of energy expenditure.
Yeah.
So, embrace it, enjoy it, and reap the rewards.
Perfect. So if you listen to this podcast and you've got any tips that you think we've missed out, just send us an email on info@rntfitness.co.uk or drop us a DM on our social medias @Akash Vagella, @AdamHaley1 or @RNT_fitness. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with your family and friends and hit subscribe. And if you're feeling good, leave us a review. Thanks for listening.
Awesome.